Top 10 mistakes new eBay sellers make. I'm doing this from my laptop. I usually do it from my computer here, but I figure I'd do it from here for once. Okay, number one, listing high-priced or popular items on a new eBay account. Now, this is something I've noticed with new sellers. They don't really understand that they're new and no one really trusts them. eBay doesn't trust them. Amazon doesn't trust them. They're not going to trust you with selling anything over $100. So you shouldn't sell anything over $100 on a new eBay or Amazon account. And definitely also avoid heavily popular items. Just this is what you should do. You should just start off with maybe some stuff around the house on a new eBay account, or maybe some simple items that are not high priced if you're going to drop ship them. And the idea is to focus on the first steps of your new eBay or Amazon account and be careful so that everything goes right. So you want to make sure all the first initial several transactions go really well. You don't want anything to go wrong on the first several transactions. So if you want, just sell something really benign and easy that you can't screw up. And that's probably the best advice I could give you, because at this point you're just trying to build your account. Now, I know a lot of people jump on eBay right away because they're trying to make money because they need money. Okay, and then they're not really. That's not a good state to be in. It's kind of like you're starving to death, and then you go to some super bad for you fast food restaurant. You're just going to eat everything. It's not good for you. That's why they say that you should eat before you go to the supermarket, because if you go to the supermarket hungry, you're going to just go buy everything you want to eat. And if you went there full, you wouldn't buy all the stuff you don't need. My point is that you want money, and you're not going to get it fast if you're just starting an eBay account or an Amazon account. You're not going to get it fast. There's no point in trying to hurry it. You should basically not bank on making a bunch of money on eBay right off the bat or Amazon. You need to focus more on the account and making sure it's good and steadily increase it over time so that it can get big fast. You're not going to get it big fast with the wrong mental approach, is what I'm saying. Number two, not being exact about the product specifics or accidentally picking a slightly different model when creating a listing is a really bad mistake a lot of new sellers make. If you're selling a certain particular phone, make sure you get the exact model. If you're selling a certain Game Boy, if you're selling a certain piece of clothing, if you're selling whatever, some power tools, some appliance, make sure you got the exact right one. If it's NB900B, don't put NB900, because there might be an NB900W, there might be an NB900B. Usually it has to do with color in that respect. That would be black, white, and you know what I mean. And then sometimes it has to do with something else, the V on the end or whatever. So the point is that if you're starting off, you got to make sure you list the thing right. And eBay has an auto pre-fill thing, and if you put the wrong model number in there, it's going to put a bunch of wrong information in, and then you're going to sell it, and then the customer's going to be pissed because they got the wrong one, and then you're going to have potentially bad feedback on your first couple sales because you didn't list it right. Okay, number three, selecting the lowest price, thinking this is the proper way to price your item, is a bad idea. You're not Walmart, okay? You're not some mega huge conglomerate, trying to destroy little sellers. You're a little seller trying to make money. If you understand that there's two types of customers out there, there's a cheapskate customer, he goes to Walmart, and then there's a quality customer who's looking for quality. You want to sell at a price which people buy it at, but not the lowest price. And you can actually research that, going to eBay, doing a search on the item that you're looking for, and doing a completed item history search. You do a search, and then you might hear my son in the background. He's making noise. Okay. Do an eBay search. Check the button on the side, left side menu. It says completed item history. Sort by highest price first at the top. There's a pull down menu. Look for the first green prices. Those are sales that recently occurred for that item. Okay. That would be your highest price you'd want to put on your listing. Maybe to buy it now, and you would put the bid lower than that, of course. But you don't need to play the price game. There's no relevance to it. Number four, not answering a customer's email quickly because you don't know what to say. or you just forgot to check your email. I'm talking about a customer, someone who already bought. If you have a customer that purchased from you, you need to answer the questions quickly, and if you don't know the answer, you should just do your best. You shouldn't just sit there and let it sit. Okay, it's not a good idea, especially if it's about, you know, something that could potentially change their mind and make them want to return it, or there's some issue, or they misunderstood something, or they want to make sure there's some clarity on a particular topic. You want to make sure you give them clarity so that there's no problems. Okay. Number 5, poorly packing your shipment. Forgetting to put all the accessories in the box, delaying the shipment like you forgot it in your trunk. Stuff like this is really bad as well. If you're going to do this eBay thing, you better stick with it. You better do the whole thing. Ship it out in a decent amount of time. Make sure you got everything in the box. Make sure you didn't forget anything, and make sure you pack it well. Okay. Number 6, not being proactive with your listings. For instance, you forgot to hit relist, you didn't add any more items, things of this nature. Okay, actually my son's right here. What do you want? Okay, so the idea is you need to be proactive. You need to be continually relisting items. You need to be checking what's going on with your listings. If it didn't sell, there might be a reason why it didn't sell. Maybe you got your pricing wrong. Maybe you got it labeled incorrectly. Maybe you got something wrong with it. And this is sort of this is just number 6, I guess. You just got to be proactive and make sure you relist items and keep the listings going. And if you got new items, get them up. Okay. Number 7, not checking the prices and sell-through rate to adjust in case your pricing is wrong, or having a bad title. Actually, that's kind of what I covered as well. So the point is, number 6, be proactive. Number 7, the idea is to think about what went wrong with your listing. Is your pricing wrong? Did you have the wrong title? Did you list it incorrectly? I mean, the good till cancel, for instance. A lot of people do the good till cancel 30-day listing. This is not a good way to list, honestly. It's good for long tail items. It's not good for something you want to get rid of right now. Okay, you should list 7-day listings. That's because it puts an expiration date on your listing. They know they have to get it right now. Okay, they can't come back in a week or two and buy it from you. Okay, if they want it, they better buy it right now. That's the point. You also have different percentages of power on each day with the 7-day listing. The last day is 50% of the power of the listing. The first day is maybe about 15%. Each day in between is about 5% power. Maybe the second to last day might be 10% power. The last day is 50% of the power of the listing because everybody will start seeing it because it will start reaching the top of the listings. The last hour is about 30% of the power of the entire listing of the 7-day listing. So this is what I'm talking about. If you have listings ending every day, you have sales every day. If you have a 33% sell-through rate, that's good. 1 out of 3 times it sells. That's healthy. So if you have 3 listings going up every day, they're all 7-day listings, you'll have 3 items ending every day. You should have at least 1 sale a day. Okay. Now, of course, as I indicated, if you're a new seller, you kind of gotta work up to that. You can't just start listing like crazy. You have to start really slow, couple items the first week. You know, add a few more items every week until you steadily get to where you got a lot of items going up every day. You can't just, off the bat just start going crazy. Because of how eBay and Amazon are set up these days, you have to make sure to prove to them that you're reliable and trustworthy. They have to see that you are shipping things out. Customers are happy. They're not going to trust you with 10 new iPhones being sold on a new account when they don't know who the heck you are. Okay. Number 8, not taking advantage of products you sold quickly at a good profit. Okay, and this is kind of what I was talking about as well a little bit. I sort of indirectly talked about this. If you have an item that's selling really good and it's making a big profit, you should steadily increase that. Now, of course, back in the old days, I'd just say, hey, go hog wild and start listing it like crazy right now. But these days, you can't do that on eBay or Amazon because of trust ratios, and they look at what you did in the previous month and they gauge whether or not they trust you. And if you did $1,000 last month and you did $10,000 this month, that's risky in their mind. If you did $1,000 last month, you do $3,000 this month, and it's a steady increase, everything's going good, that's good. You probably hear my son again. At any rate, I'm almost done here. Number 9, freaking out when a customer threatens you with a negative feedback and immediately refunding their money. I've seen sellers do this. It's really not a good idea. It's really bad. Okay, a lot of new sellers will freak out because their customers threatens them with negative feedback. That's really not smart to refund someone that has your product in their hands. It doesn't matter if they threaten negative feedback. Okay, there's ways to remove feedback, negative feedback, and I understand it's a new account, you don't want it to blow up, but the point is that you don't. There's a way to avoid this too a little bit. You should check out, especially on a new account, you should check out every customer you have coming in. First, there's ways you can stop bad customers. There are various limitations you can put in a listing. You can say nobody with negative feedback, nobody who's had strikes recently, nobody with zero feedback. You can put all these limits in there so it can avoid some of the really bad customers off the bat. Two, if you get a new customer coming in and they buy, go check the feedback they leave for others. See if they bought the same thing from another person and left a negative feedback. Okay, they might be on one of these. I've seen it before. They'll buy the same thing over and over, expecting the next person to ship something different. And they get pissed off, and then they just, they're already in a bad mood because they already returned two before you, and they're buying yours, and they're already pissed off. They're like, this guy better not be another one of these bastards, you know what I mean? And you're already on his shit list, and you didn't even do anything. You see what I mean? So, check for stuff like that. There's also scammers who have, if you check out the feedback they leave for others, if they keep buying the same thing and leaving negative feedback, really bad sign. Just refund the dude, okay? Say I'm sorry, I ran out of stock. I know it. You might think to yourself, well, what if I get a negative? If it's a really cheap item and you don't really give a crap if he rips you off, ship it to him anyways, and just pray that he doesn't give you a negative. But I mean, if it's a really expensive item, don't ship it to him because he might have, filed disputes on the last two people as well. Now, this is sort of a rare situation. I'm not talking about every customer you see out there. This is like kind of a once in a blue moon you'll get these kind of customers. But you have to be careful on a new account because sometimes they go after new accounts like this because they know that you're new and fresh and they can easily deceive you. Okay, number 10, listing too many items or selling too many products too quickly on a new account rather than taking a conservative, steady, increasing approach. Steady approach to increasing your sales and making sure everything goes well. You should be focused on your account. I've kind of already indirectly talked about that as well. You should always make sure when you're starting a new account to make sure everything goes right. That's the most important part, is making sure everything's going right and being very scientific about it, making sure that your customers are happy, and you should be looking for items that make you a lot of money that you can keep selling over and over and over. If the customers are happy, if you're making a good profit, and it sells fast, that's the perfect item. That's the gold mine right there. You want to expand on that item. And that's also the fastest way you're going to increase your limits. If you're selling the same item over and over and everybody's happy and you're making good money and it's a fast seller, that means you can steadily increase it over time, and eBay's going to see that you're selling basically the same items over and over and the customers are always happy. They're going to be like, yeah, dude, we're going to increase your limits. You see what I mean? But there's a temptation to just go crazy with the new item. If you're one of those guys, you're like, dude, this thing's making me money. It's a fast seller. I'm going to list it like crazy. Bad idea on a new account. Bad idea. I mean, it flew for a long time. You could do that kind of stuff even up till, you might even still be able to do it today, but it's really not a good idea. And I can tell you why. Okay, back in the old days, it would have flown all day long. You could have did that even up till 2012, 13. They'd be like, okay, cool. But today, they might let it go, but as soon as you get one dispute, even if you sold 30 of them in a row and everybody's happy and you just have one dispute on a new account, they freak out. But if it's an old account, they won't freak out. But if it's a new account, they will if you're going crazy selling them. Now, if you start doing steady sales and you have 30 sales that steadily happen, and then you have a dispute, they're not going to freak out. But if you did 30 sales in a row, like, 10 today, 10 tomorrow, 10 the next day, and then you get a dispute, that's not good. But if you just sell, 1 this week, 2 next week, 3 next week, and it's a steady increase, then they won't freak out. I'm just telling you how they think. They're looking at risk assessment ratios. They're looking at, your history. How did the customers respond? If it's a brand new item and you got a brand new account and you're selling like crazy, they don't know anything about you, man. Why would they let you sell 10 Apple iPhones in a row, brand new ones, Why would they let you do that on a new account? Of course they're not going to let you do it. Of course, they already have these limits already administered in the accounts now these days, but Let's say you have a huge account, and let's say it's got tons of feedback, you got big limits, and let's say you've been selling power tools all this time, and all of a sudden you get a huge thing of cell phones in. If you start going crazy selling a ton of cell phones, they might be like, whoa, what's going on here? They might. I'm not saying they will. Especially if you got huge limits, they might not even care because they already know your work ethic, they know you. But if you got a completely different item you're selling than you usually sell, it usually brings up a couple flags. It'd be like, oh, let's make sure this guy isn't going the wrong. And if you start going hog wild with this new item, I mean, just like 10 iPhones a day on some huge account, that might even raise flags then, even if it's a huge account. So I'm just saying you got to be careful and steadily increase. It's all about steady increasing and proving yourself. That's what it's all about.